He said, "Don't treat her on camera." Did he know it was being recorded?
He said it like I wasn't even there. Don't treat her, she's not worth it. I'm on an ER bed, barely conscious, machines beeping around me, and the man saying it, my dad is standing right beside the doctor like he owns the room. I just paid for his surgery. Every bill, in full. And now he's telling them to let me sit here untreated like I don't matter? The doctor hesitates. A nurse freezes mid-step. No one moves. Then a voice cuts through the room, not from any of them. Can you repeat that for the record? My dad frowns, glancing around, confused. And that's when I notice the red light blinking in the corner pointed straight at us. My fingers twitch against the sheet as he opens his mouth to speak again. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. The room smells like antiseptic and cold plastic, the kind of smell that sticks in your throat. My vision keeps slipping in and out at the edges, but I can still make out faces. The ER doctor is on my left, one hand hovering near the rail of my bed. A nurse in navy scrubs is standing near my feet with an IV kit she hasn't opened yet. And my dad is at my right shoulder, close enough that I can hear the impatience in his breathing. He doesn't look worried. That's the first thing that cuts through the fog in my head. He looks annoyed, like I'm causing a scene. Sir, the doctor says carefully, not taking his eyes off me, I'm asking you one more time to be very clear about what you're saying. My dad straightens up, like being challenged in front of people irritates him more than the fact that I'm lying there unable to sit up. I was clear, he says. She doesn't need treatment right this second. That isn't what he said, and everyone in the room knows it. The nurse's eyes flick toward the camera in the corner and then back to me, quick, nervous, like she wants to say something but can't. I try to swallow and it hurts. My mouth is dry. My heart is hammering hard enough that I can hear the monitor speed up with it. I want to tell them he has no right to decide anything for me. I want to say his name, tell them to get him away from my bed, but my body feels heavy and wrong, like I'm trapped 1 inch beneath my own skin. And the worst part is, this isn't even surprising. Not completely. My dad has always had this way of stepping into a room and making everybody react to him before they react to the actual problem. He talks like his version is the official version. He says things with this flat certainty that makes people pause even when he's lying. Especially when he's lying. I learned that young. Smile at the right time, stay quiet when he's angry, don't argue when other people are around because somehow he can turn anything around and make you look unstable, ungrateful, dramatic. I moved out at 19 for a reason. I stopped needing him a long time ago. But 3 weeks ago, when his surgeon's office called saying his procedure had to be postponed unless the balance was cleared, he didn't call me to apologize for all the years he acted like I was disposable. He called because he knew I'd answer. And I did. Because that's the part people don't understand when they hear stories like this. A parent can fail you over and over, and some part of you still wants to believe this time will be different. This time they'll remember you showed up. This time they'll look at you like a daughter instead of a tool. So, I paid it. The full surgical bill, every outstanding charge. I remember sitting in my car in the hospital parking garage, staring at the payment confirmation on my phone, feeling sick but weirdly relieved, like maybe I had just bought peace, not gratitude. I knew better than that, just peace. He didn't even say thank you. He just nodded once and asked if I'd validated his parking. Now I'm the one in a hospital bed, and he's trying to decide whether I'm worth saving. The speaker crackles again overhead. Doctor, please confirm patient status. That voice is calm. Too calm. Not a receptionist, not a random tech, someone official, someone listening closely. The doctor lifts his chin slightly toward the ceiling, but his gaze stays on my chart. Adult female, conscious but impaired, intervention delayed pending authority clarification. Authority clarification. The phrase cuts through me harder than the pain in my chest. My dad hears it too. There is no clarification, he says immediately. I'm her father. The doctor finally looks at him directly. That tells me who you are. It doesn't automatically tell me what you can authorize. For the first time, my dad's expression changes. Just a crack. A tiny flash of irritation mixed with confusion. Because he's used to that sentence ending differently. He's used to people backing off. The nurse steps closer to me and checks the monitor, but her hand brushes the blanket over mine for half a second. Intentional. Grounding. Her voice is soft when she says, Noella, can you hear me? I blink once. It takes more effort than it should. She nods almost invisibly, like, that mattered. Like, I mattered. My dad notices and moves in fast. She's not in any state to answer questions. I hear the edge in his voice now. Not fear, control. He needs the room to keep orbiting him, and the second it starts shifting, he pushes harder. The doctor doesn't answer him right away. He studies me, then the chart, then something on the monitor attached to the wall. There's a beat of silence that feels too long. I can hear a curtain ring scraping somewhere outside the room, distant footsteps, the muted chaos of the ER moving around us, while this tiny box of space turns tight and airless. Then my dad says, lower this time, almost like he's trying to pull the doctor onto his side. Look, she overreacts. She always has. Don't make this bigger than it is. There it is. That familiar humiliation. Not just cruelty revision. The instant rewriting of reality while I'm still living inside it. The nurse's jaw tightens. The doctor sets the chart down. And suddenly, I remember something from earlier that evening, before everything blurred. A check-in clerk asking me to verify emergency contacts. Me shaking my head. Me saying, very clearly, do not list my father for decisions. The clerk typing, the screen reflecting in her glasses. My own voice, tired but certain. So why is he still standing here like he has power? The red light in the corner blinks again. This time, I don't just see a camera, I see the doctor see it too. Another voice joins the first one over the speaker, quieter, like someone covering a mic but not enough. Ask for documentation. The doctor's shoulders square. The hesitation in him doesn't disappear, but it changes shape. It's not uncertainty anymore, it's procedure. He turns to my dad and says, in a tone so controlled, it makes my pulse jump. If this is the decision you're making, then I need it documented formally. The nurse goes still. My dad stares at him for half a second, then gives a small, irritated laugh like he thinks paperwork is just one more thing he can bully his way through. Fine, he says. Bring me the form. The paper slides onto the metal tray with a soft, final sound that feels louder than it should. I can't lift my head, but I see it, white form, black text, a pen placed neatly beside it like this is routine, like this happens every day. My dad doesn't hesitate. He reaches for the pen immediately. The doctor doesn't stop him. That's what scares me. Not yelling, not arguing, just watching. Sir, the doctor says, calm but tight. I need you to read it carefully before signing. I know what I'm signing, my dad replies, already dragging the paper closer. You people make everything more complicated than it needs to be. You people. The nurse shifts her weight beside me. I catch it in the corner of my eye, the way her grip tightens around the IV kit she still hasn't used. Why hasn't she used it? Why is everything paused? My heart monitor ticks faster. I can hear it, feel it. Something isn't lining up. I try to focus, to force my brain through the fog. The last clear memory I have is sitting upright, answering questions, signing intake forms myself. I remember the clerk asking about emergency contacts again. I remember correcting her. No, not him. So why is he acting like none of that exists? My dad leans over the tray, scanning the page for maybe half a second, barely enough to register anything, and then starts signing. Fast. Too fast. Like he's done this before. Like signatures are just obstacles to get through, not decisions. Sir, the nurse says quietly, stepping forward just a little. There are implications too. He cuts her off without even looking at her. I said I understand. His voice has that edge again, the one that shuts people down. And it works partially. She stops talking, but she doesn't step back. The doctor watches the pen move across the page. His expression hasn't changed much, but there's something sharper behind his eyes now. Focused, calculating, waiting. That's the word. He's waiting. For what? My fingers twitch again against the sheet. I try to move my arm, just a few inches. Anything to show I'm still here, still aware, but it barely lifts, before dropping back down. Useless. My dad finishes the signature with a hard flick of his wrist and drops the pen like it's done its job. There, he says, now can we stop wasting time? The room goes quiet again. But it's not the same silence as before. This one feels watched. The red light in the corner is still blinking. I focus on it harder now, forcing my eyes to stay open. It's mounted high, angled directly toward the bed. Not hidden, not subtle, just there. Recording. The speaker crackles. Everyone in the room freezes, not dramatically, just enough to feel it. Then the voice returns. Can you confirm your decision verbally for the record? My dad exhales sharply, like this is getting annoying. I already signed. We need verbal confirmation. There's a pause. A small one. But it's the first pause he's made since this started. He glances around the room again, slower this time, at the doctor, the nurse, the equipment, the door, and then briefly up at the camera. Something about that look feels different. Like he's starting to realize this isn't just paperwork. But whatever doubt flickers there, it doesn't stay. His jaw tightens. He straightens his posture slightly, like he's stepping onto a stage he didn't realize he was on until now, but he's decided to perform anyway. Fine, he says, louder this time, clearer, do not treat her. The words land heavier than before. More official. More permanent. My chest tightens. The monitor spikes again. The nurse looks at me, really looks this time, and I see it in her expression now. Urgency. Not panic. Decision. She leans in closer, adjusting the blanket like she's fixing something small, routine. But her hand slips underneath for just a second. And something presses into my palm. Small, solid, a pen. My breath catches, shallow and uneven. She doesn't look at me when she does it, doesn't acknowledge it at all. Just straightens up and steps back like nothing happened. The tray is still there, but now there's something else on it. Another form, not the one my dad signed. This one is angled differently, partially tucked beneath the edge of the tray, like it wasn't meant to be obvious. The doctor hasn't said anything, but he hasn't stopped it either. That same waiting energy is still there. Only now it feels directed at me. The speaker crackles again, sharper this time. We need confirmation from the patient if possible. My dad lets out a short, irritated laugh. She can't respond. I feel the pen in my hand. Heavy. Impossible. Necessary. Every muscle in my arm feels disconnected, like I'm trying to move through water, through sand, through something thicker than my own body. But I know what this is. I know what they're giving me. A way out. A way to say no. My fingers twitch. Then curl. Slow, unsteady, but real. The tip of the pen drags across the sheet as I force my hand to move. It barely makes a mark, but it's enough to make the nurse's eyes snap down to it. And my dad, he hasn't noticed yet, but he's about to, because the pen just touched the paper. And it didn't come from him. And the second it moves again, everything in this room is going to change. The scratch of the pen is barely audible, but in this room, it cuts through everything. My dad hears it. His head snaps down toward my hand. What is she doing? He says, sharp, stepping closer to the bed. The nurse moves at the same time, not fast enough to look suspicious, but deliberate enough to block his direct line of sight. She's responding, she says evenly. I just said she can't, he fires back. But now the doctor steps in too, closing the space on my other side. Not aggressive, just present, controlled. She's attempting to, he replies. The difference matters. I can feel it. My fingers tighten around the pen. It feels like it weighs 10 pounds, like my hand might just give out any second. The paper shifts under my wrist as I try to steady it, but the lines blur together. I can't read it. I don't need to. I know what it is. Or at least what it represents. Control. My dad reaches forward like he's about to grab the paper, but the doctor's hand comes up, not touching him, just stopping him. Sir, he says, voice firmer now, do not interfere. That word lands differently than anything else so far. Interfere. Not advise. Not decide. Interfere. For the first time, my dad hesitates. And it's small, but it's real. The speaker crackles again, and now there's more than one voice behind it. Low murmurs, movement, people paying attention. Patient appears responsive, the original voice says. Proceed with verification. Verification. My heart is racing so hard, it feels like it's shaking my entire body. The monitor is probably showing it. Everyone can probably see it, but no one tells me to stop. No one pulls the pen away. The nurse leans slightly closer again, her voice just low enough that it doesn't carry. Noella, she says, calm but urgent. Can you sign your name? Just that. No explanation. No pressure. But everything is riding on it. My dad exhales sharply. This is ridiculous, he says, louder now, like he's trying to reclaim the room. She's not in any condition to make decisions. The doctor doesn't look at him. That's what we're determining. My hand trembles as I drag the pen again. The first letter comes out wrong, too long, too uneven, but it's there. Proof. I'm here. I hear my dad shift his weight, pacing half a step. What is this? He demands. What form is that? No one answers him. And that silence is louder than anything. Because a few minutes ago, he controlled every response in this room. Now he's not even getting one. The camera's red light keeps blinking. Steady, unblinking, watching everything. The speaker clicks again. Doctor, confirm document type. The doctor finally picks up the form slightly, angling it just enough to read without taking it away from me. His eyes scan quickly. Then his expression changes. Not dramatically, but enough. It's a patient directive override, he says. My dad freezes. A what? He asks. The nurse doesn't look at him. It allows the patient to assert decision-making authority. My dad lets out a short, disbelieving laugh. Over me? No one answers immediately. And that's when it starts to land. Not fully, but enough to unsettle him. My hand keeps moving. Each letter feels like dragging something through resistance, like my body is fighting me on every inch, but I don't stop. Because now I understand something I didn't before. This isn't just about getting treated. This is about being heard. On record, the earlier voice comes back, sharper now. Continue. We're documenting. We're documenting, not just recording, not just listening. Documenting. My dad looks back up at the camera again, longer this time, really looking at it. And for the first time, I see something break through his control. Not panic, but awareness. You said this was standard recording, he says, his voice tightening slightly. Who exactly is we? No one answers that either. The doctor keeps his focus on me. Almost there, he says quietly. Almost. My signature is messy, barely legible, but it's forming. And the second it's complete, everything shifts. My dad steps forward again, faster this time. Stop her, he snaps. She doesn't know what she's signing. But now the doctor doesn't just block him. He steps fully between us. You need to step back, he says. No hesitation left. That's new. That's different. The room has changed. My dad feels it too. You're making a mistake, he says. Voice low, controlled again, but thinner now. You don't know the full situation. The doctor meets his gaze. Then you'll have an opportunity to explain it. That lands. Because that's not something you say inside a normal ER conversation. That's something you say when this is going somewhere else. Somewhere official. My pen drags across the final stroke. The last line of my name. My hand slips as I finish it, the ink trailing slightly past where it should. But it's done. The nurse doesn't wait. The second the pen lifts, she takes the form and passes it directly to the doctor. Clean, efficient, immediate. No hesitation. My dad sees it happen. What is that? He demands again, louder now. The doctor scans the signature, then looks straight at him. And when he speaks, his voice is completely different than it was at the beginning. Flat, certain, controlled. This, he says, holding up the paper slightly, changes who gets to decide. My dad's expression tightens. I already decided. The doctor doesn't blink. Not anymore. The room goes silent. Even the speaker doesn't interrupt. For one suspended second, nothing moves. Then my dad takes a step forward. And the doctor says, sharp and unmistakable, do not come any closer. And just like that, the balance in the room is gone. And my dad is no longer the one in control. The shift is immediate. Not loud, not chaotic, but absolute. My dad feels it before he fully understands it. That much is obvious in the way he stops mid-step, like he's walked into something invisible. What exactly do you think you're doing? He asks, his voice quieter now, but tighter, controlled in a way that feels forced. The doctor doesn't answer right away. He hands the form to the nurse, who checks it quickly, eyes scanning the signature, the date, the identifiers. Her movements are efficient, practiced, but there's a new urgency behind them now. It's valid, she says. 2 words. That's all it takes. My dad exhales sharply through his nose, shaking his head like this is some kind of misunderstanding he can still correct. No, it's not, he says. She's barely conscious. That can't possibly hold up. The doctor finally turns fully toward him. It does, he replies. She's responsive, oriented enough to indicate intent, and the directive aligns with her intake records. Intake records. There it is again, that earlier moment connecting back. The one he wasn't part of. The one he didn't control. My dad's jaw tightens. What intake records? The nurse doesn't hesitate this time. She declined to list you as a decision maker. That lands harder than anything else so far. For a second, my dad just stares at her, then at me. And I can see it, the calculation behind his eyes, the way he's trying to reframe this, reshape it into something he can still dominate. She wasn't thinking clearly, he says quickly. She gets like this, emotional, reactive. He's not talking to them. He's performing. For whoever's listening, the camera's red light keeps blinking. Steady, uninterrupted. The speaker clicks again, and now the voice is unmistakably authoritative, not neutral anymore. Doctor, proceed with patient-directed care. That's it. That's the line. The moment everything locks into place. The doctor nods once. Understood. Then he turns completely away from my dad and toward the nurse. Start fluids, prep labs, let's move. And just like that, the room comes back to life. The nurse moves fast now, tearing open the IV kit, hooking the line with practiced precision. Another staff member appears at the doorway, someone who wasn't there before, drawn in by whatever's happening beyond this room. My dad steps forward again, but this time, it's different. Not confident, not controlled. What is this? He demands, louder now. You don't just ignore me. I'm her father. No one stops moving. No one answers him. And that's when it really hits him. He's no longer part of the decision. He reaches toward the bed again, like proximity might give him back authority, but before he can get close, another presence steps into the room. Security, not aggressive, not forceful, but positioned directly between him and me. Sir, one of them says calmly, we need you to step back. My dad laughs, but there's no humor in it. You've got to be kidding me. The doctor doesn't even look up from adjusting my IV. He's interfering with patient care. That word again. Interfering. But now it carries weight. Now it has backing. My dad looks around the room, really looks this time. At the nurse who won't meet his eyes. At the doctor who isn't engaging with him anymore. At the security standing firm. And finally, at the camera. You're making a mistake, he says, but it's quieter now. Less certain. You don't understand the full situation. The speaker answers immediately. Then you'll have an opportunity to explain it. The exact same words the doctor used earlier, but coming from somewhere else, somewhere bigger. My dad goes still. For the first time since he walked into this room, he doesn't have a response. The nurse secures the IV line, cool fluid finally flowing into my arm. The sensation is immediate, sharp, grounding, real. My breathing steadies just slightly, enough that the fog in my head begins to thin. I can see more clearly now. Not everything, but enough. Enough to watch the moment unravel. Sir, security says again, firmer this time, you need to come with us. My dad doesn't move right away. He looks at me. And there's something in his expression I've never seen before. Not anger, not disappointment, not even control. Something closer to exposure. Like the version of himself he spent years maintaining just got pulled out into the open, and he doesn't know how to put it back. This isn't over, he says. Low, direct, meant for me this time, not the room. The doctor finally looks up. It is for now. Security places a hand near my dad's arm, not grabbing, just guiding. This time, he doesn't resist. He lets them turn him toward the door. Step by step, he walks out. And for the first time since I got here, he's the one being removed. The door swings partially closed behind him, muting the outside noise again. The room settles, but not back to what it was before. Something has shifted too far for that. The doctor checks the monitor, then looks down at me, not past me, not through me, but directly at me. You did exactly what you needed to do, he says, calm and certain. My throat tightens, but I can't form words yet. The speaker crackles one more time, softer now. Doctor, remain on current course. Administration will follow up. Follow up. Not just medical. Something else? Something bigger. And as the IV continues to drip steady and controlled, I realize this didn't just stop him. It recorded him. Every word. Every decision. Every moment he thought he was in control. And whatever happens next, it's not staying inside this room. Because someone beyond that camera just decided this doesn't end here. The door doesn't slam when they take him out. It closes quietly. And somehow, that's worse. Because nothing about what just happened feels like chaos anymore. It feels processed, logged, stored somewhere that can't be argued with or rewritten later. The IV fluid is cold as it moves into my arm, but it clears my head faster than anything else has. The beeping around me evens out, steadier now, less frantic. The nurse adjusts the line, checks my pulse again, then finally meets my eyes properly. "You're okay," she says, calm and grounded. Not dramatic, not exaggerated, just certain. And for the first time since I heard his voice in this room, I believe it. The doctor steps back slightly, reviewing something on the monitor, then on a tablet that wasn't there earlier. "Vitals are stabilizing," he says, mostly to the nurse, but loud enough that I hear it. Stabilizing. That word lands differently too. Because just minutes ago, everything was slipping. Not just physically. Control, authority, reality. All of it. Now it's coming back into place, but not the way my dad expected. The speaker crackles again, softer this time, but still present. "Doctor, administration has flagged the recording. Legal will be reviewing." There it is. Out loud. No ambiguity. No room to reinterpret what just happened. The doctor nods slightly. Understood. He doesn't seem surprised. Which means this was never just a medical moment. It was being watched the entire time. Documented the entire time. I swallow, my throat's still dry but functional now. The camera I manage, my voice rough, barely above a whisper. The nurse glances at it, then back at me. "Some ER rooms are monitored for compliance and patient safety," she says carefully. "This one is part of that system." Compliance. Patient safety. Two neutral words that just turned into something very real. Because my dad didn't know. He thought this was just another room he could control. Another situation he could talk his way through. But everything he said, "Don't treat her. She's not worth it." All of it is sitting somewhere now. Recorded, reviewable, permanent. I close my eyes for a second, letting that settle. Not as revenge. Not even as relief. Just fact. When I open them again, the doctor is standing closer, his tone more direct now that everything is clear. "You had a directive on file," he says. "You removed him as decision maker earlier tonight." I nod slightly. It takes effort, but it's easier than before. "At intake," I say. "We saw that," he confirms. "But we still had to verify capacity in the moment. That's why the documentation mattered. That's why they waited. Not because they believed him. Because they needed it on record. Every step. Every word." My eyes shift to the tray where the forms were. The one he signed is still there, slightly crumpled at the corner. The one I signed is gone, already processed, already part of whatever system is running beyond this room. "What happens now?" I ask. The nurse answers this time. "Medically, we continue treatment. You're going to be fine." And then, after a brief pause, she adds, "Outside of that, it's not really up to us anymore." Not up to them. Because this moved beyond the room the second that voice came through the speaker. As if on cue, there's a knock firm. Controlled, and the door opens just enough for someone in administrative attire to step in. Not a doctor. Not a nurse. Something else. "Hi, Noella," she says gently, stepping closer but keeping a respectful distance. "My name is Karen. I'm with hospital administration." Her tone is calm, practiced, but not detached. She knows exactly what just happened in here. "We're going to make sure you have everything you need," she continues. "And we'll also be documenting today's incident fully. You won't need to do anything right now, but someone from our legal team may follow up once you're feeling better." Incident. That's what it is now. Not a disagreement. Not a misunderstanding. An incident. I nod again, slower this time. Across the room, the camera's red light finally goes still. Not off, just steady, like it's done capturing what it needed. 3 weeks later, the hospital feels different when you walk in on your own 2 feet. Quieter, less urgent. Or maybe that's just because I'm not the one on the bed anymore. I sit in a small office near the administrative wing, a folder resting on the table in front of me. Inside it are copies, transcripts, reports, timestamps, everything. Every word he said, every response from the staff, every second accounted for. Across from me, a legal representative flips through a version of the same file. The recording is very clear, she says. There's no ambiguity in what was stated or how it impacted your care. I don't respond right away. I don't need to, because I've already read it. Seen it written out in plain text, stripped of tone, stripped of emotion, and somehow that makes it even sharper. Don't treat her. She's not worth it. No reinterpretation. No rewriting.
If you were Noella, would you press charges or walk away after that record?